grab a drink, get comfy, and prepare to learn about
the strange, the unusual, and the downright stupid things you didn't think that you needed to know about.
I'm Kayla.
And I'm Brooke.
And this is
Drunk in the Library.
Welcome back to Drunk in the Library.
Alrighty, we do have questions, comments, concerns this week.
We're being very quiet already.
I know. I don't know why. Sorry, I was drinking.
All right.
As per usual.
I've got one. I know you have a couple. So the one that I had written down was regarding the Christian pact theory. We think it's actually called the diabolical pact theory, but we can't really find it. So.
Yeah, I went back
guys.
and I looked through like my sources, and I think it was just presented as a theory. I don't know if it has like an actual name, because there was like a lot of talk about like Christian witch theory, but that's something that's like different. That was like if you have one witch, you're gonna have multiple witches because they are in. Like
hanging out together,
yeah. Yeah, it was like either like the devil's pact theory or diabolical pact theory, something like that. But then I had for yours, how fast do planes go? So like the answer was a bit more complicated than I expected. It says passenger trains can travel up to 575 miles per hour. Some private jets can go up to 700 miles per hour. Military plane speed usually tends to be classified, so we don't really know a lot about it, but there are like some speeds that I have here. So the SR-71 set a record in 1976 with a speed of 2,100 miles per hour. The Boeing X-37B was 10,800.
Oh my god, is that the one that broke the sound barrier? I know we have broken the sound barrier.
I think that one might have.
I mean, that must have.
But then there's also
10,000.
some military planes were estimated that they can fly around 300,500 miles per hour.
That's beyond my understanding.
Yeah. I don't know. That's what the internet told me, but most of the time it's classified, so we don't really know.
Okay, gotcha.
So,
we should ask Wells. Wells would probably be a good person to talk to about that.
He'd love talking about that shit with us.
Yeah.
Do you think he'd tell us that information, though? Do you think that's classified,
the classified stuff, probably not, but I bet he would love to have a conversation with us anyway about how fast can planes go.
Yeah, he'll tell us. We'll just make a note to ask him next time. And then as for sound, so apparently that's a complicated answer, too, because like when I looked up like what's the speed of sound, speed of sound is actually more of like a unit of measurement. But eventually I found that sound travels at 761.2 miles per hour.
Okay. So
we're around that area. So yeah, we've definitely broken the sound barrier before. I don't know. It was a little confusing. I feel like that's kind of slow for sound.
Yeah, I thought it would be faster.
But maybe I'm thinking of light.
Yeah, maybe.
I don't know.
Light, I think, travels faster.
Light travels much faster. But what do I know? I'm not a fucking sound scientist, so... Alrighty, I think you're first.
Yes. However, first, support. And also, we're celebrating because this is episode number 20.
Jesus Christ.
That's a huge achievement.
That's a huge achievement.
Yeah. Thank you guys
God.
so much for tuning into 20 episodes with us.
I mean, even if you didn't, we'd still do this because it's fun for us.
Yeah.
So.
But, like, it's just crazy that we've been sitting down and doing this 20 times now.
Yeah.
It's awesome. Thank you guys so much for allowing us to do that and being present for it. We really, really appreciate it.
Yeah, and we've had talks of like new things coming too, so just keep an eye out. Like we're trying to get our shit together and figure out what else we can add in here for everybody. Also, like I'd like to pitch the idea here and now, which I mean me and you have talked about, but how would you guys feel about like little merchandise items? Because like we have some things.
Yeah.
Like
we have a few things.
We have a few little trinkets. But I just want to know if people would want them.
Yeah, if you guys would be interested in anything like that, and of course it would be very cheap.
It would be
priced,
super cheap.
At least
it like
for starters.
Yeah, like
real cheap.
Probably
And
just come in like a little package because there's only little small items that we have so far.
So like, if you guys would be interested in something like that, let us know. Maybe message us on Facebook or leave a comment or something with if you would be interested and what you would like to see.
Yeah. Because, like, we can make that happen. Like, as I said, we have a couple things so far that, like, we have keychains of our own and bracelets, but just curious because, like, I would like to start, like, a little shop, but I want to know if people are interested in that stuff. So, if you're an avid listener and actually want something, let us know. Because,
let us know.
Give us some thoughts. So, all right, go ahead.
Okay.
Give me what you got. You look very excited.
I'm very excited because we're talking about my favorite cryptid.
Mothman.
All right, so my sources are allthat'sinteresting.com. Again, I've got a lot of them.
Ooh, can I interrupt you for a second? Because I'm going to forget to tell you this because you've reminded me of Mothman. I saw there's a website called lookhuman.com that has a Mothman, like, face mask.
Shut up.
It's the cutest fucking thing I have ever seen.
Oh my god, I'm gonna buy it.
I'll have to tag you in it so that you can see it. It's adorable. It's got this little Mothman and he's got his little red eyes. Oh my god, it's so
it. I'm gonna buy
cute.
it.
Go ahead, sorry.
Okay, so allthat'sinteresting.com, Wikipedia. I watched a YouTube video called Mothman, America's Notorious Winged Monster by Storied. WVExplorer.com, Grunge.com, Ranker.com, and ColinAndrews.net.
I'm so excited for this. Fucking love Mothman.
I know. Okay, so sightings of Mothman occur mostly between 1966 and 1967 in Point Pleasant, West Virginia. Mothman is a creature of disputed origins who, according to most reports, stands somewhere between 6 and 7 feet tall and carries large hulking black wings on his back.
Yeah, man.
His most notable feature, however, is his glowing red eyes. Yeah. He terrorized the town for just about a year before vanishing. And so, like, let's just go ahead and, like, walk through the Mothman sightings. I know you and I know, like, I practically don't need to do research for this because we've listened to so many episodes of different shows about Mothman.
Yeah, but it's so good to hear over and over again because I learn something new every single time.
All right, let's start with, like, the very first recorded sighting in this cluster, which was November 12th, 1966 in Clendenin, West Virginia. 5 gravediggers claim to have seen a man-like figure flying overhead in the trees above them. It was not reported until several days later, but they think that now that, like, this was the very first sighting of him. Kenneth Duncan, who reported the incident, said the figure was a brown human being. So just, like, large and hulking and brown. Okay. Then, just a couple of days later, on November 15th, 1966, this is the most popular Mothman sighting. 2 couples were driving down a dark road in Point Pleasant, West Virginia. Roger and Linda Scarberry and Steve and Mary Mallett reported the incredibly weird incident to the police the following day. Basically, they're driving down the road and they see this thing in front of the car. As the headlights flash across it, they see, like, these massive wings and the glowing red eyes, and then it kind of, like, darts away. So it stands about as tall as a large man, they said, maybe, like, slightly taller. Naturally, the couples are, like, pretty fucking freaked out because, like, what the fuck is this thing? So they go ahead and speed away. As they speed away, somebody looks behind them, I guess just, like, out of curiosity, what the fuck was that thing? And it's flying behind their car. I would poop my pants.
Yeah. I have to give props, though, to the people who are in these scenarios that they have enough, like, sense in them at that time to like, fucking go.
Yeah.
Because, like, for me, I would be shitting bricks.
Yeah, like,
I would have easily peed my pants already.
I 100% would have peed my pants.
Like, not even just joking, like, genuinely peed myself.
Yes. Maybe not, like, when it flashed through the headlights, but 100% when I turned around and it's fucking flying behind me.
I think I would have peed myself the moment it flashed through the headlights, and then I would have shit myself when I turned around and it was there. It would have been bad all around.
Oh my god. So they're driving away. They've got the car going nearly 100 miles an hour. Like, they're pushing it to the top of its capability back in 1966. And this thing is fucking keeping pace with them. So finally they hit, like, the town limits. And it just kind of, like, peeled off.
Okay.
They don't know what happened to it. The foursome obviously went to the police and reported what had just happened because, like, that's fucking terrifying. when the officers went to investigate, they too reported seeing something huge and flying.
Could you imagine? You're just on your regular fucking night call. You're like, all right, whatever. Cool. And they're like, we're gonna find a giant bird, and then they're like, fuck.
Yeah.
That's a moth man.
No, thank you.
Yeah. I'm out.
So, this is the following day, November 16th, 1966, in Salem, West Virginia, which is like a solid 90 miles from Point Pleasant. A man named Merle Partridge claimed that his television started to, like, get some weird, like, you know,
interference.
Whines. Yeah, and started making this, like, high-pitched whining noise at the same time that his dog started, like, barking like mad outside. So, naturally, he went up to go check on his dog, and that's when he comes face-to-face with this creature with glowing red eyes. What a surprise.
Mothman!
That's officially his theme song.
No, his theme song is the YMCA one that we found. That was like, Mothman. He's a moth and a man. I said, Mothman. He's a man that's a moth. And then we made up like a whole other verse after that.
Yeah.
My favorite song.
I also, like, associate his name heavily with Batman, so I always want to go, Mothman!
Oh, man, it's just like a man in a furry suit with, like, angel wings on. And then red big glasses.
Man. I love Mothman
Halloween
so much.
idea.
So anyway, Merle goes to check out his dog, and he sees Mothman, who then, like, darts into the woods, and the dog, who's, like, a hunting breed, darts off after him.
Shit.
And Merle never saw his dog again.
No.
Yeah. Him and his friends went, like, looking for it the next day, but the dog was gone. Did Mothman eat it? Did they travel off into another dimension together?
What do moths eat?
Not dogs, generally.
Well, thanks for clearing that up. I thought they had a taste for them.
I don't know. Like, leaves?
Sweaters?
Ooh, I could not think of that word.
Tree confetti.
You know, the things on trees. Okay.
Tree skin, you know, the thing it sheds.
Also on November 16th, Raymond and Kathleen Walmsley said they saw it parked next to their car, or next to their parked car.
I was like,
Mothman's driving now.
He's in his own car. His Mothmobile. It's literally just like a fucking giant ass fucking light bulb.
Oh my god.
It's a lamp.
It's crouched next to their car, and they say it, like, slowly rose up from the ground, and they described it as a large gray thing with glowing red eyes. They said it was larger than a man. So, the thing that, like, confuses me most about this is we now have 3 similar but differing descriptions of him. We've got the first guy who described it as a large brown thing. The second guy is who said that it looked like it was black. And then these ones who said that it looked gray.
Maybe it was Mothman and his family.
Maybe there's multiple. I like that theory.
Mothmen.
Moth people.
Sorry.
Proper pronouns, please.
My bad. There's just like a whole moth family out there just doing their thing. They're like, we didn't ask for this, but this is how this is.
I love that.
Oh man, I wish somebody could draw that for us.
Maybe. So sightings just, like, continued over the next couple of days. 2 volunteer firefighters reported to have seen it, saying it was a large bird with red eyes. Some reports say it was seen upwards of 100 times over the next year, but, like, more credible sightings were, like, between 6 and 8.
I have to move the light. Sorry. The way that it's, like, reflecting, like, is giving me a migraine, I think.
Oh no.
Yeah, go ahead.
Okay. More...
Grab my medication out of my bag. I'm listening.
More than just fear, really, Mothman really seemed to be, like, a harbinger of just bad vibes. Just bad vibes. Many people in the Point Pleasant area reported nightmares in the months following the Mothman sightings. Multiple people reported similar dreams about presence floating down the nearby Ohio River. Some people reported nightmares of people drowning. However, I tried to, like, substantiate that claim with multiple sources, and it seems the only sources who talk about that talk about the lore episode regarding the Mothman.
Okay.
So I don't know if maybe, like, did Aaron Mahnke just use, like, his poetic, like his creative license to kind of exacerbate that a little bit. I don't know. I couldn't really find any, sources that really talked about that.
Okay.
So flash forward to December 15th, 1967, which is exactly 13 months to the day that it appeared in Point Pleasant, with the, chasing the couples in the car.
Okay.
It's just a couple of weeks before Christmas, and the neighboring city is, pretty bustling. You kind of have to cross the Silver Bridge to get from Point Pleasant to that city.
Okay.
And there's, a decent amount of traffic because it's midday, and again, it's right before Christmas. The Silver Bridge is relatively young at this point. It was only built in 1928, and it was painted with...
What year was this?
1967.
Okay. So it was, yeah.
Yeah, 40 years old. It was painted with a silver aluminum paint, which is how it got its name.
Okay.
The bridge collapsed, which it took 31 cars into the Ohio River and killed 46 people.
Holy shit.
It was determined that the bridge collapse was due to, a faulty eye-bar, which I don't really fucking know what that is.
I've heard it explained to me, and I kind of get it, but, I feel like it's one of those things that you have to watch, demonstrated in a video to kind of understand.
Yeah, whatever. The bridge collapsed. It was determined to do a faulty eye-bar. But obviously, crazy theories surround the tragedy anyway. Hands down, the most popular theory is Mothman.
He was warning everybody.
Was he warning everybody, or what? Does he bring doom upon them?
But, why all of a sudden?
Yeah, I'm a fan that he warns people.
Yeah, because, my thing is, why all of a sudden was he just aw, shit, fuck these people.
The Silver Bridge must be destroyed.
Yeah, it was, his fucking kryptonite.
Yeah. So, my favorite part of, the Mothman mysteries is that, all this other, weird shit started happening.
Okay.
After the, collapse of the Silver Bridge.
Mm-hmm.
According to cryptozoologist Lauren Coleman, around the same time that Mothman started to show up, there were a bunch of other weird and unexplainable stuff going on in town. Mutilated dogs started turning up, UFO sightings, TV sets that were just, getting burned out for no reason, because this was back in the day when there were, tubes that would get burned out in TVs.
Oh, okay.
Phone calls that resulted in, a weird language were happening at all hours of the night. People would answer their phone and someone wouldn't be on the other end. Just, a lot of weird, fishy
sketchy
stuff. Yeah.
It's Mothman calling from
Probably.
His den.
Yo, if Mothman called me up, I'd be like, hey, baby, what you doing?
Bro, tell me where you are. I'll meet you.
Can you ride?
It's no, you got wings. You take me for a flight test.
People started seeing men in black in town after the bridge collapse, and a lot of this is, unsubstantiated, so I'm not going to go into, a ton of detail on it.
Okay.
However, as you know, if you're interested, the podcast Astonishing Legends does, a super amazing in-depth review or, dive into the fishy stuff surrounding Mothman.
I feel like they might have talked to people, too, who, were, involved.
Yeah, they dig a lot more into, Indrid Cole and the Men in Black and the UFO sightings and stuff like that. Yeah. So if you're interested in that stuff, go check that out because it's really interesting. I'm going to talk more about other reported sightings of Mothman.
Okay.
So, just real quickly, a very popular theory regarding what Mothman actually is that it's some sort of, a mutated sandhill crane, because, there's, where the couples saw him is kind of near, an abandoned TNT plant. In the video I was watching, it was kind of described as, a lover's lane kind of area.
Okay. So, didn't they think that he, lived in, a bunker?
Yes. Yeah. It's, an old TNT plant.
Yeah.
And, people would kind of go out there to do, spooky couple shit. You know?
Yeah, fuck in the dark.
Yeah. Or, hey, babe, I dare you to go.
Oh, yeah, fuck now. So you're gonna take me to do that on a date? Our date's over.
Yeah, probably. But because it was a TNT plant, a bunch of people thought that, it was, causing pollution in the nearby, waters.
Okay.
So they think because of that, maybe a sandhill crane got, hella mutated.
It's fucking weird.
And, regularly sandhill cranes can have a wingspan of, 6 feet, which is pretty solid.
That is pretty solid.
And they can stand 3 to 4 feet tall.
But aren't they white?
Yeah, but they do have red feathers around their eyes.
Yeah, but I mean, that's a stark contrast.
It is,
do you know what I mean? To go from, even if you're, mutated, to go from being, white to fucking gray or, black?
Maybe not if you're swimming in polluted water.
How polluted are we talking?
I mean, if it's polluted enough to mutate them.
I guess, but I don't know. I don't subscribe to that theory.
Yeah, I don't either, because I'd like to believe that Mothman is out there somewhere.
Oh, yeah. I mean, my thought is, like, if they ever were to discover a cryptid, I'd want it to be Mothman.
Yeah.
Like, I want them to, like, prove the existence of Mothman. The other ones, not so much. I don't really care that much about. Like, I love them. But, like, Mothman, I think, is, like, so interesting in and of itself. Also Nessie, because I feel like that would open the door to, like, plesiosaurs and shit.
Yeah, yeah. So, like other Mothman sightings, let's move to Freiburg, Germany, September 10th, 1978. Oh. A group of miners is descending into their mine to begin the day's work. They discover that their way is blocked by what they originally suspected was a large man in a trench coat.
Fuck that. That's even scarier than Mothman.
Thanks.
Bye.
Later, they will describe this thing as headless, with glowing red eyes set in his chest.
Okay.
Yeah, so, like, I think...
Like his nipples?
His nipples are glowing red.
What a fucking sight to see.
And he unfurls these really large wings and lets out this fucking terrifying shriek.
He should fucking let Iceland know.
Hey, buddy, could we record that?
Do you want your fucking screech played in the forests of Iceland? We can make that happen.
Naturally, the men scramble the fuck out of there.
Well, yeah, I would have fucking teleported.
Yes, yeah. So, they're, like, watching nearby about an hour later when a plume of dust comes out of the mine and it collapses.
Great.
Yeah, so, the creature was dubbed the Freiburg Shrieker, and people who saw him...
Shrieker? It's amazing.
And people who saw him thought, like, maybe he was there to warn them of the impending mine collapse.
Interesting.
Yeah. In 2007, the I-35W bridge in Minneapolis collapsed. It killed 13 people and injured 145 more. But about a month prior to its collapse, there were reports of a very large black bird near the bridge. One woman who called into a radio show described the creature as having a wing about the width of a Ford.
Jesus.
So, like, pretty fucking big.
That's fucking scary.
It's a very large bird,
That's the largest of birds.
Yes. And then, before the Fukushima earthquake in 2011, and subsequent collapse of the nuclear power plant, there was an American tourist who claimed to have seen something near the power plant. He and a friend were walking along a beach after a night out when they heard an earth-shattering cry from overhead. He said it sounded almost akin to a city bus whose brakes were in need of servicing.
Oh, God.
Which gives you exactly the visual you need.
I know exactly what that noise is, and that's awful.
When they looked around, he saw a figure perched on top of one of the plant's square buildings, which he found out later is the building that houses the reactors that, like, exploded and collapsed. According to him, it sat there for about 5 seconds before unfurling a large pair of black wings and taking off. It circled the building that housed the reactors 4 or 5 times. The creature then passed over the man as he flew away, and he saw 2 large red eyes.
Yeah, fuck no.
Yeah, I'm good, thank you. Throughout 1985, scientists and workers at Chernobyl site reported sightings of a large black bird-like creature with the body of a man.
Oh, boy.
People who reported to have seen it also reported strange phone calls and nightmares. On the day of the Chernobyl, like... Disaster, yeah, thank you, that's a good word. Which is April 26th, 1986. People reported to have seen the same creature flying through the smoke after the explosion.
Oh, wow.
There were even some reported sightings in the nearby town of Pripyat, and it became known as the Blackbird of Chernobyl.
The Mothman of Chernobyl.
Yeah, so, like... Is he a bad guy, or is he trying to warn us?
I like to think, as he said.
Things?
I think he's trying to warn us of scary things.
I think so, too.
Where has he been in 2020?
Dude, man, I don't know.
Mothman has failed us.
He really has, dude. The last time we saw him, I guess, was 2011 in Fukushima.
Man, I was going to ask you, like, I'm glad that you kind of went into that, because I didn't know if there was any sightings after the initial ones in Virginia. Because I hadn't, like, ever heard anything, but that's cool.
There are also, like, claims from before that. Like, people claim to have saw him before World War I and after World War II. But, like, those were pretty, like, unsubstantiated and, like, nothing really came of them. It was just, like, tales of a large bird-like man. So, like, is he out there somewhere, just waiting for disaster to come warn us? Does he feed off the chaotic energy that follows a disaster?
His Mothman senses are tingling.
Maybe he was like, yeah, 2020, too bad even for me. I can't help it.
He's like, there's just too many sightings that I would have to fucking endure, and, like, I just can't.
There hasn't been, like, one big catastrophic event, anyway, that he could, like, circle and fly over.
That's true. So, and he's shit out of luck then.
Yeah.
He's kind of retired now.
Yeah. Again, this is, like, delving into conspiracy theory, but, people even, and, like, I'm real sorry, because this is a little sensitive, people reported seeing, like, a large black bird flying near the towers, pre 9/11.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, there's a photo of it, and it's, like...
Scary?
It's pretty spooky.
I have to look it up.
Yeah.
I want to see that.
I didn't want to mention that, though, because I didn't want to, like, dwell on that, because it's not a nice thing to talk about still.
It's not, but I mean, it's still part of our history, and, like...
Is Mothman part of our history now? Maybe.
He has a statue in Virginia.
He has a whole museum.
I would love to go and
I want to go there so bad.
I mean, I'm glad that he was featured at the Cryptozoology Museum we went to.
Me too.
That fucking cute little thing.
Ugh, yeah. I also think that, like, should I get a Mothman tattoo? Probably, right?
I want a cryptid tattoo. I don't know which one I want, though. I don't know who's my favorite.
Oh my god, get little BFF Bigfoot and Mothman's.
Bigfoot's not my favorite, though.
Okay, then you gotta pick
I believe in him, but I don't... He's not my favorite.
Believer.
I feel like... I don't know. I feel like either Mothman or Nessie might be my favorite. I love Nessie. I do. I think she's a little fucking plesiosaur. But there's not as many, like, corroborated, like, sightings of her.
Yeah, they're, like, few and far between.
Yeah. I don't know. I'll have to figure it out.
Yeah.
But I do want, like, a little cryptid one.
Yeah.
I think that'd be fun.
I know.
So, cool.
Yeah, so that's Mothman for you guys.
Oh, he's the best.
I know.
Alrighty. So, we'll be back after this short sponsored break. In like fucking 2 minutes. I don't know.
Find the thing.
Do I not have a mouse? What the fuck is happening here?
She's getting a migraine, guys. She can't think anymore.
You have to press the stop button. Silly.
And we're back. We took a little break there.
It felt like a fucking week.
Almost. What do you got, Brookie?
All right. You're going to love this. I can't wait. So today, I'm talking about just one of our favorite things, but there's multiple.
We have a lot of favorite
things. I know,
things.
but this one is like in the top tier.
Ooh.
Top tier of our favorite things.
Do you want me to guess, or are you just going to tell me?
Yeah, guess. Go ahead. Go ahead. You get one guess, though. I'm not.
Can I have a category?
No.
Okay. There's so many options. Cats.
Yes.
Really?
Yeah. We're talking about the domestication of cats.
Oh my god, yes.
That's so funny. Yeah. So
great minds.
I have been holding on to this topic for a very long time. This was actually the first thing that I ever put on my list.
Oh wow.
Yeah. Because it's weird. So like I put the domestication of cats, but it's really the self-domestication of cats because cats did domesticate themselves, as we'll see. So, my sources are Wikipedia, lock.gov, theboard.org, and a video called Cat Domestication from Farms to Sofas by Nature Video on YouTube.
Oh, okay.
Yes.
Straight to the point.
Yeah. They gave me a lot of information with nice visuals, and the lady's voice was very calming. So... obviously, for centuries, we've been allowing these furry little monsters into our homes. Mm-hmm. But how did that come to be? How did we come to domesticate cats? Or, as I said, how have cats come to domesticate themselves?
Yeah, as anybody, like, if anybody owns a cat, you know that, like, you don't own a cat has you. Like,
yeah. You don't get to pick your cat.
I have to imagine that their domestication came about in pretty much the same manner.
Basically. All right, so when cats first came into, like, our frame of existence, I guess. I mean, obviously, they've been around since the dawn of time. But, like, when they came to us, mm-hmm. It was... They came from the same species. It was called Felis sylvestris, which had 5 subspecies. So there was the European wildcat, the Chinese mountain cat, the African wildcat, the Asiatic wildcat, and the South African wildcat.
Okay.
So the African wildcat was the only one of those 5 to be actually domesticated.
Oh, wow. I think it's pronounced Asiatic.
I don't know.
But, you know.
I don't know.
Continue.
Help me. Looks like Asiatic.
Yeah,
like
but
sciatica,
it's like...
asciatica. I don't know. Anyway, So cats eventually started to follow humans after noting the connection between people and food, as one does.
Yeah.
So basically, humans would grow their food. They would store it in like their little storage areas, whether that be a building, a fucking silo, whatever. Cats, naturally, this would attract like mice and rodents and other things. And cats were like, "Fuck yeah, food!" So then they'd scurry along over to like where all the food was being stored. They'd catch the mice, but then the food was protected from being eaten by...
Okay, so they weren't interested in eating our food. They wanted to, like, just hang out and catch our mice.
Yeah, basically. Cool. Like, they weren't like, they're not gonna sit there and fucking munch on some grains.
That's fair.
They don't give a shit about that.
Oh, man, you've met Ben.
I have, but I don't think he's gonna do that. So, basically, yeah, that was kind of what it came down to. They kind of saw it as a free meal, and therefore a mutually beneficial relationship began. So, as I said, humans would harvest and store food, and in exchange for protecting it, cats would have fertile hunting grounds. At that time, humans really didn't see a need to domesticate them at all, because, this is a quote, they were already perfect little angels.
That's true.
Yeah. So, like, because, I mean, at that point, like, they're not looking for some, like, animal to care for when they can't even really care for, like, their children. They're just looking for something that's going to protect their food source.
Right.
So, like, that's enough. If it's not, like, attacking them or, like, doing anything to them.
Yeah, then, like, that's
solid.
Enough.
Yeah.
So, like, how did those cats hold up in comparison to our cats today? Like, were they larger? Were they more ferocious? So
we'll get into that a little bit. So these cats were seen as, like, super helpful. So then they were brought on travels in order to keep rats and mice at bay off of, like, ships and stuff.
Okay.
And therefore they ended up in, like, Europe. So, like, they basically traveled around the rest of the world via ship because, yeah.
I love it.
Like, little unsinkable Sam.
Yeah, like, wherever people go, cat go.
Yeah, because they were like, well, that's gonna, like, we're not gonna have a bunch of fucking rats on board because this cat's gonna take care of that.
We evolved hand in hand.
Yeah. So apparently they did really well on ships, too.
Huh.
Yeah. So that was, like, the first wave of domestication. So that enabled them to be used as, like, food protectors and pest control. But it came in two waves. So this was kind of, like, the first line of it. This kind of went, like, to ingrain in their DNA that, like, food was associated with humans. So wherever they were going to find humans, they were going to find the food that they needed. So the second wave of domestication occurred with the ancient Egyptians. I feel like I mentioned Egyptians literally every episode because they did everything.
Aww.
So, like their earlier ancestors, the Egyptians were particularly impressed with cats' abilities to keep away snakes.
Ooh.
Yeah. So eventually, they started taking kittens from their mothers in order to acclimate them to human contact, which is really how they started to be domesticated in, like, the way that we know them today, because, like, they became used to people handling them and being around them so often, because the Egyptians were like, we want in on that.
I love that ancient, like, Egyptians were the first ones to do that, because, I feel like a kindred spirit to that culture.
Yeah. So they loved cats so much that they had gods and goddesses that were, that had, like, cat heads. So we're going to talk about 3 of those.
Okay.
Because I think they're really cool. So there's Mafdet, Bastet, and Sekhmet. Mafdet was the first and was seen as a protector of the pharaoh's chambers. She protected against snakes, scorpions, and evil. And then Bastet was probably, like, the most famous that we've heard of. She's fucking hell of a goddess. If I believed in any god, it would be this one. So she was the goddess of protection, cats, perfume, fertility, pregnancy, music, the arts, and warfare.
Wow, she just covers it all, man. She goes
like,
from A to Z.
Yeah. So she was originally depicted as a lion, like she had a lioness head versus a cat. This is the best fucking part of this. You're gonna love this. So they had festivals dedicated to her, which included a lot of, like, song and dance as well as sacrifices, and they were described as feasts of drunkenness.
I hope there was a lot of cosplay, too, like, just people walking around in cat heads. Like, yeah. I want to go there.
They have their, like, cats on a leash, wearing, like, gold jewelry, and they're like, this is Bastet.
Oh my god, what a mood!
Yeah. Apparently the drunkenness, like, appeased her. Like, that's what you did to, like, that's what won her favor.
I'm so mad I'm not living there right now.
But, I mean, are you?
No, but, like, I just want to go. We should hold one of those festivals.
Yes.
Just, like, praise Bastet, bring your cat. Wear some eyeliner.
New Year's. Let's do New Year's.
New Year's. Best at New Year's.
Best at New Year's.
Boys will love that.
We'll make them dress as pharaohs. We'll dress Puss up in, like, some garb, like pharaoh garb. She'll fucking love it. And we'll just, like, worship her for the rest of the night. Then Sekhmet was another cat-headed goddess who was associated with healing and protection. She was also believed to protect their dead upon their journey to the afterlife, which I think is so fucking cool.
Yeah.
So, like, she brought them there, and then, like, the other gods did the rest.
She doled them out from there.
Yeah. Her worship festival was known as the Festival of Intoxication. Music was played, everybody got drunk and danced in order to imitate the drunkenness she experienced that stopped her from destroying humanity.
Man.
Amazing. That story's hilarious.
Yeah, these Egyptian goddesses are just such a mood.
It was, like, too much to write about on here, but basically, like, she was kind of like a form of, or she, I guess, like, fell under the category of Ra.
Okay.
Who was, like, the sun god, so she was, like, a sub-goddess of that, I guess.
A sub-sun god?
Yeah, so he basically wanted everyone to, like, worship him and, like, sent her to, like, punish the people because, like, they didn't. So, like, she was just gonna fucking ruin everybody. And instead, they just got her really drunk, to which she couldn't remember that she had to ruin everybody. And that's that.
That's amazing.
The story is really interesting, and I really want to read the whole thing because it's fucking hilarious.
That's great.
So cats in Egypt were also, like, routinely part of artwork at the time. If you look at, like, a lot of ancient artwork, there's always a cat in it. Whether it's underneath a fucking chair, if it's just doing its thing, if it's posing, there's cats everywhere. So they were considered sacred, and upon death were treated as such. They were embalmed and mummified and buried in cat cemeteries. So Egypt had, like, a shit ton of cat cemeteries.
Oh my god.
They were also buried with pharaohs and other prominent figures. So the cats that we know today didn't actually start to appear until, like, the Middle Ages.
Okay.
It took a while to get them, like, fully domesticated to where they needed to be.
So, like, what did they look like in Egypt?
So we'll kind of go over that towards the end a little bit.
Okay.
I mean, I'll touch on it just briefly, but from what my understanding is, because they know that changes started to happen during the Middle Ages because they can see changes in DNA. So before the Middle Ages, there wasn't such a thing as, like, a brown or gray tabby. Okay. Like, they didn't have that, like, patchy coat at all. So that basically signified, once we saw that in the Middle Ages, that there was, like, selective breeding involved. So they must have domesticated them to the point where they could do things like that.
Yeah. Okay.
So, as I said, there wasn't such a thing as a tabby in the sense that we know them today. They didn't have blotches or spots. I think they were... It's, like, hard to describe what they looked like, but they almost had, like, in the video that I watched, she described it as a mackerel pattern. So it looked almost like... I don't want to say scales, because it didn't, but it was...
Okay.
It was, like, little squares, almost. Like, little chunks.
That's interesting.
It's really bizarre. So then, during the Middle Ages, they started to be bred for the gene that carries that blotchy coat. That gene wasn't and still isn't present in wildcats. So, like, wildcats are wildcats.
Like, yeah. Like, not just talking about, like, ferals, because they're all
No, these are ones that
these are, like, actual wild
They have
cats.
not been touched.
Like those Norwegian forest cats and stuff like that.
Well, Norwegian forest cats are domesticated.
Oh.
Yeah. Which I'll touch on that, too. But there's, like, actual, like, wild cats in Africa that look like regular cats, but they're not. Like,
could you imagine stumbling upon a cat in the wild?
Yeah.
My dream.
I mean, I stumble upon feral cats in the wild all the time.
Yeah, but like we said, feral isn't wild.
Yeah, but I mean, I don't want to get attacked by it.
No, me either, but I want to see them.
So the same study that studied, like, the cat's coat color in the Middle Ages was conducted in 2017, but they found, this is just, like, kind of an aside that I thought was interesting, they found a connection between coat color and length and hyperthyroidism.
Oh, really?
Yeah. So cats that are long hair and not purebred are at greater risk than cats with short hair that are purebred.
That makes sense.
Because Puss.
Yeah, because Puss has long hair and she's hyperthyroid.
And who knows what she is.
Yeah.
they laughed at me because I put her in as a Maine Coon at work. They're like, you know this
fucking liar.
isn't. I was like, I don't know what the fuck she is,
She's
okay?
just a DLH, domestic long hair.
Yeah, well, I was like, she's got that Maine Coon in her.
She's like this big.
I know. Well, that's because she has hyperthyroidism. She'd be much bigger. Cat fucking eats Doritos.
God bless.
It's like, if you boys are listening, you better not be giving her anymore. Anyway, they also found a connection between aggression and coat color, which is something we've heard of, but you mostly hear it about, like, torties and calicos.
Yeah.
So, tortoiseshells, calicos, gray and white, and tuxedos are said to be the most aggressive. Now, I've met Ben, and he is...
There's literally not an aggressive
He is the
bone in
least
his body.
aggressive cat I've ever fucking met.
I've held him for nail trims, I've set catheters, I've gotten blood work, I flip him upside down for funsies. I've heard him miss once, and that was at Barry.
Yeah. I mean, I agree with the torties and the calicos, because they're fucking assholes.
Yeah, what was the other ones?
Gray and white cats.
Gray and white. Okay.
I feel like I've seen 50-50.
I feel like you could also pull a difference there between long hair and short hair. And again, like, this is just talking from our experience because we deal with cats so frequently. But I feel like long hair gray and white cats, I do trust. They tend to be nice. But short hair gray and white cats, they can be feisty.
Okay. Yeah, I think I agree
And I
with
feel
that.
the opposite about tuxedos. Long hair don't trust, short hair do trust.
Yes. Yes. I wholeheartedly agree with that. Yeah, it's weird because you're right. We do see them so often, so like you kind of start to notice patterns in that.
Yeah.
It was just weird that there was like a whole study that was done on that.
Orange cats always wonderful. Or really bad.
Yeah,
they're perfect or terrible.
Yeah, I have never met one that's just like right in between. They're either snuggly little fuckers or they will fuck your shit up.
Yeah.
We used to have this one that came into work that, like, his dad was even, like, fucking scared of him. So he put on the front of his carrier a Ziploc bag and, like, fucking zip-tied it to the carrier because he, like, tried to bat. So he would just hit the bag.
Oh, my God.
And he ended up, like, tearing that shit up. But he was scary. Anytime I had to touch him, I was like, I'm gonna die today. Anyway, so dark color cats are also less likely to be adopted, which is bullshit, but... I think that goes to say with, like, dark-colored dogs, too.
Yeah, and I think that's just, like, superstition.
It is, like, but I also read people won't adopt black cats or, like, tuxedo cats because they don't photograph well.
I've read that, too.
Which
and
is
I mean,
super fucking sad.
Yeah, it is. Because, I mean, like, everybody loves a derpy-ass picture anyway. Yeah. Ben photographs very poorly, but I still love him.
I have some of the greatest pictures of Ben.
You do have some good pictures of Ben.
Please.
But he doesn't, like, generally, he does not photograph.
I mean, he looks scared, but he looks to me, I'm like, you're perfect. Another study found, this is so fucking creepy, that over the years, cat meows and cries have evolved to sound like crying babies because they know it will get them attention.
I've heard that. I also believe that. Like, we had this cat at work literally today that was, like, screaming its full head off, and it sounded just like a baby crying.
It's so
it was
weird.
Terrifying.
It's just weird that they learn to mimic that.
Yeah.
Creepers.
So intelligent.
Yeah.
But, they don't care. Like,
no, they don't give a shit.
No.
They think they're going to get food or treats out of it.
Right.
So now I'm just, we're going to go into some interesting cat breeds. So now you can look at the visuals that I have provided you.
Slideshows from Burke.
Yep. All right. So first we have the Aegean cat, which I kind of fucking love.
Mm-hmm.
So this cat breed is only found in the Cycladic Islands in Greece. It's also known as, like, a natural cat because it was able to develop without the help of humans.
Oh, so this is as close as people get to domesticated wild cats.
Yes, because since they're right on water, they're really good at, like, they're really good with water, and they're also good at fishing.
Oh.
Yeah. So they're also free from most genetic diseases, which I thought was really interesting. And they're usually either tricolor or bicolor. White is almost always one of the colors. They said they're known for their love of fishing and water. And Wikipedia states, in Greece, Aegean cats are considered a national treasure.
Oh, precious.
Is that not the cutest fucking
thing?
So
cute.
Alrighty, so now you can swipe to your next one. This is an Egyptian Mao.
Okay. They got the dumb-looking faces.
They do have the dumb-looking faces. This is the pattern that I was talking about. Like, it's
like kind of Ripley almost.
Yes, Ripley. So these cats were worshipped in ancient Egypt. Their hind legs are longer than their front legs, and they have spotted coats and are known to be quite talkative.
I think Barry's got some of this in him.
Maybe. They can run speeds up to 30 miles per hour.
Holy shit.
Yeah. Can you imagine? No. Doing the fucking zoomies around your house. You wouldn't even fucking see him.
I also love that they're called Egyptian Mao, and Mao is like, isn't that the Egyptian word for cat because it's the sound they make?
I don't know. Maybe.
I will have to, like, fact check that, but I think so.
Yeah. I don't know. I just know it's like M-A-U.
Yeah.
Egyptian Mao. And then we also have the Norwegian forest cat.
Love these bad boys.
They're so fucking cute.
They're so fuzzy.
So they're also known as skog cats. They're adapted to colder climates and have long waterproof coats, which I thought was really cool. Fucking cool. Yeah.
I wonder if they have like thick undercoats, almost like huskies or I don't know, like retrievers.
Maybe. They were a favorite of Vikings due to their mice catching abilities and were frequently found on Viking ships. They can be very large in size and are known for their climbing abilities. In Norse legends, they were referred to as, and I quote, a mountain-dwelling fairy cat with the ability to climb sheer rock faces that other cats could not manage.
Love it.
Fairy cat.
Little fairy cats.
Fairy cats. I love them. They're so fucking cute and large.
Yeah.
And I adore it.
They're big boys.
And then lastly, we have some famous cats.
Okay.
So, first we have Felicette. In 1963, she became the first cat to go to space and survive.
Wow.
Yeah. Next, we have Tuxedo Stan.
Oh, he's so cute.
He ran for mayor of Halifax, Nova Scotia, and his campaign slogan was, "Because neglect isn't working." His campaign aimed to get a city-sponsored spay, neuter, and cat care program for Halifax.
Oh.
Unfortunately, due to laws in Halifax, he was not able to be officially elected, man. Although they wanted it.
I bet.
I would change the fucking laws.
I would vote for that, yeah. I'd fucking vote for that, man.
Look at how fucking smug and cute he is.
He's like, I could be mayor.
I was like, I was reading up on him, and apparently he used to live, I think it was him that I'm thinking of, at like the post office of Halifax.
Okay.
Or like one of the general stores. So like because like I guess it was so small that they didn't actually, like they weren't actually able to like have a mayor.
Okay.
Maybe it wasn't Halifax. Maybe it was like some town in Alaska. I think I'm thinking of the one in Alaska because there was one where he was like elected mayor.
There's a couple of towns in the U.S. that have like dogs as mayors. I'm pretty sure
it was Alaska. He was like elected mayor. He couldn't actually be mayor because they didn't have one, so they just like kept him in the general store.
He was just kind of like the unofficial mayor.
Yeah, and he was just like allowed to do whatever the fuck he wanted. But then like a bunch of kids like fucked him up one day and he had to get surgery and the town rallied around him. Aww. And like raised a shit ton of money for his surgery, but they raised so much that like all the extra ended up going to the veterinary clinic that took care of him. And then he ended up having to stay like upstairs because like they didn't want anybody to hurt him again.
Aww.
Yeah. I don't think it was this one. I think it was
somebody
another
else.
One. Yeah, but it's still a great story.
Yeah.
Next we have Oscar, who is the craziest one of all of these for me.
He's so cute.
His story freaks me out. So he's a therapy cat at Steerhouse Nursing and Rehab Center in Providence, Rhode Island. He can predict when someone's about to die, and he like will curl up next to them, and usually within 2 hours that person dies.
Holy shit, that's weird.
Yeah. As of 2015, he has accurately predicted over 100 deaths.
Wow.
Yeah. And he's like, not that he's not friendly, but like they said that he's like a therapy cat, but he's not a cat that like you can just go and like pick up. Like they let him do his own thing and he'll come to people and like that's that. But they've noticed that like if they find him on somebody's bed, they immediately call like the family and let them know that they should probably come in and say their goodbyes because like Oscar's like curled up next to their...
That's weird.
Isn't it?
Ooh, that gives me the chills.
It's freaky as fuck.
Yeah.
So then lastly, we have Cream Puff.
Cream Puff.
Cream Puff was the oldest cat in the world at 38 years old.
Holy shit.
He lived from 1967 to 2005.
Whoa.
Yeah.
That is unreal.
Yeah.
Holy shit.
Mm-hmm. And that is all I have.
That's awesome.
He looks fucking decrepit.
He does.
But I mean, they all kind of...
He's so cute, though.
He is really cute. I might be impartial because I feel like they're all, except for Oscar, tuxedos.
Yeah, a lot of them are. But tuxedos are perfect, man.
Yeah, they are, which is why they've done so many fucking things.
This has been a remarkable journey.
I'm glad. Sometimes I talk about things that are, like, super fucking depressing. Even though I make fun of them, they're super fucking depressing, so... It was time that I did something a little bit, a little bit lighter and happier.
Yeah, so. And I mean, it was worth the wait.
I loved it. I loved it. I'm glad that I gave you this to look at.
I appreciate it. Yeah,
and everyone else is gonna see this when I post it for our episode.
Yeah, and you conveniently already have slides made up.
I know.
So convenient for you.
I know. I should start doing this for everything to make my life easier. So book recommendations. Did you have any?
Obviously, if you guys are interested more in learning about Mothman, read the Mothman Prophecies. I think it's by John Keel.
Have you ever watched that movie?
I haven't, but I really
haven't
want
either.
to.
Yeah.
We should put that on our list of things to do.
We should. Yeah, I haven't watched it, but I've heard that it's really good.
Yeah, so if you guys want to learn more about that, check that out. And don't forget to check out the episodes of Astonishing Legends that go over it, because they go into, like, a deeper dive in
they
the
have, like,
Men
a
in Black and
3-part series or something on it.
Super interesting.
It's really, really cool. The recommendation that I had was called Making Rounds with Oscar, The Extraordinary Gift of an Ordinary Cat.
Aww.
By David Dosa. So he wrote a whole book on Oscar and, like, the things that he does, and I guess, like, he probably went more into detail as to, like, why he has that ability to do things like that. I mean, we know that animals can sense things that we can't, and like, I know they have, like, dogs that can sniff out cancer, so, like, why not a cat being able to, like, smell the cells in the body dying?
Yeah,
you know?
yeah.
So there's a whole book on that. I will put it on our Goodreads page to check out, because I would like to read that. I think it's depressing, but I also think that it's fucking fascinating.
Yeah, absolutely.
Like most things that I go over. Depressing and fascinating. So yeah, that's that for the week. And we'll be back next week with more shit, and it'll probably be sad. Because that's what I do.
This to you every time.
Enjoy this while it lasts, because I'll probably bring you something depressing next week with murder and mystery. I don't know. Maybe not. Who knows?
Now you gotta deliver.
I don't have to do shit. I don't have a fucking boss to tell me what to do. I'm my own boss.
Not here, anyway.
That boss don't tell me what to do. I do what I want. I'm gonna get fired for this. Don't care. Okay, bye.
Okay, bye.